Okay, so welcome everyone to our community meeting. This is the first one we've had in a little bit. I think it's a little bit overdue,
Head Kebun type.
but
This sounds like Vinny
we have to
Pistone.
have the time to be able to do these things sometimes, and we just didn't have it for quite a while. I do have the time now. The first thing that I do want to declare to everyone is I am now an employee of Loaded, and I work on this project among other creator platform and game platforms, modding stuff, and activation, that type of thing for the entirety of Loaded as of Monday. This was official. So this is a big deal. I think for the server in general, it will bring a lot of things to the community in terms of my ability to have better oversight on staff development, the overall creative vision, what is going into a server on a daily basis,
Bro, what is wrong with me
reviewing
spamming?
of what is being pushed, how systems are being developed, etc., which will give a lot of relief here to Smashny as well as the other development leads and the staff team. So this is a big thing. So this should improve things for the server at a point in which we're at a big high point, which is the first topic I want to talk about with the community today, is the fact that we have, over the last couple of months, a lot of players and people within the server of Prodigy and the community of Prodigy have stepped up in an amazing, huge way. And this has led to an immense amount of interest across the entirety of the GTA sphere and 5M, but not just there, outside of it. And people outside of the general 5M sphere have taken notice of Prodigy. And I cannot tell you the amount of people that I have on a daily basis coming to me and expressing interest to come and play on our server and to participate in our community. And a lot of that and those improvements go to the community itself. A lot of you have really pushed it to make this server a better place, more enjoyable place to play. You've brought RP up to a level that is
Holy shit, you may as well just say my name at this point now.
Of last year, and I think that
He may as well just fucking say my name at this point.
Acknowledgement from both the staff team, development team, and the entire community at large, that we have been able to really right the ship in a big way. We've improved our RP reputation in a
May
big
as well
way.
just act
So
big
congratulations to everyone. I think the writing's on the wall that the success comes from not just me or the developers or the staff team, but it also comes from the community actually listening and executing this stuff that just make this a better place to play, to make this a better community. So good job, guys. On that point, I want to give a couple of shout outs to some new things that are happening. The Rangers have been such a fun thing to watch that we have been able to attract a lot of people to say, hey, that's really fun. I want to come over to Prodigy and I want to try that. Okay, hold on. I'm getting a lot of shit in my chat. It's starting soon. There we go. I have the 1.0
Great.
community meeting screen we can do for today. You guys can have that. So really a lot of credit to a lot of the players and the Rangers that are making this a really attractive option for the server. A shout out to a lot of our criminal content creators out on the server as well that have welcomed a lot of these new creators in with open arms and have really brought a lot of consideration to a lot of these players that are brand new to both Prodigy and the game of GTA itself, and making them feel extremely welcome. That is not limited to any one gang. There's been so many different criminal gangs that have been so good and welcoming and going along with bits. Like big props to a lot of you. So it's been really evident. So I just wanted to kind of champion that win for the community here. So everyone's done such a splendid job recently, and I want to thank you all greatly. It's a pleasure to be here and be able to do this on a daily basis. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Why's Rami just getting
For
flamed
this
in
meeting,
chat?
the things that I want to go over are, I have a pretty massive announcement that I'm going to get into to break things off so we can get some negativity out of the way.
Who the hell?
And then we're going to go into some focused topics around, I'm going to break down I had a big meeting with the PD this week. I want to go through the state of PD on the server. I want to go through the state of the DOJ.
What?
And then I want to talk about the PD gang and criminal stuff. And then I want to break into the next patch, new player experience with Smashny. All in all, I hope the runtime of this meeting is sub 40 minutes, where then we'll take some questions. Total runtime, I hope to be an hour to hour and 10 minutes, and we'll see where that goes. The first thing that I want to talk about today is in relationship to something that we today we undertook a massive ban wave across the server. We banned countless people. This is probably the biggest ban wave we've
I
ever
told you.
done in the history of Prodigy.
I
Ever.
wondered why I could get a
It
message.
was a massive amount of work that went into this. Thanks a lot to Sneakerhead and many others on staff that have ground out countless hours trying to put this together. Prodigy has grown immensely from where we started, and with that came the need for me personally to address, especially
Holy fuck! I can't hear nothing.
A bigger and more dedicated manner.
The fuck's just driving around breaking shit in game.
Held over our heads for a long time. That comes from 1.0 as a shooter and cheater haven, and I think we need to say that the quiet part out loud that is a perception that a lot of people had about Prodigy. Admittedly, for a while, I think we could have done a better job of dealing with that issue. We didn't have the tools. We were focused on other things. And potentially we deserved that reputation maybe in our first year and a half. But we have also done a lot to correct that in terms of improving our roleplay systems and really hitting down on the culture of people who just really don't give a shit about roleplay and just come here to sit on a block with surgical gloves and just fly in to basically shoot all day long. Or have no personality, nothing. We've done a lot to kind of curb that, especially over the last 6 months. What I can tell you is that we have banned a large number of players today. And you will hear from people today.
Well, rep
I
was
got
the key
banned.
then, I guess.
I don't know why. I got banned, dude. They won't tell me nothing. I got banned. I don't know why. I'm here to tell you that these players, they know why. They just don't know why in terms of an incident or 2 incidents. They are banned because we systematically developed systems that, first of all, looked for large variances in terms of soft aiming. We developed systems that looked for variances in damage. We developed systems that looked for people that were far above the cut of other people on a place or a plane that was inhuman. Then from there, what we did is we helped fine-tune those systems with Finny Anti-Cheat, who have worked with us. And we have gone further to look for bans far removed from our server that cross-references with IDs across multiple servers over multiple different platforms, over multiple different anti-cheats across multiple different places. And what we have done is we have uncovered a number of people who were sus on our first wave with everything, and then we cross-referenced the entirety of every major gang on the server, the majority of which, or partial lists of those gangs.
That's why I got PC checked.
Cross-reference that to see past bans from other servers, and we have uncovered a large amount of people that have used different scripts, injections, Yulin, all sorts of things that are completely contradictory to the vision of Prodigy. And we're not done. I want to be very clear. We are not done. We also thought of the fact that a lot of people were going to try to argue this stuff, so we took longer. We started having initial conversations with group leaders that had members within their groups that were being flagged, just to talk to them and open up a dialogue to let them know that, hey, this might be coming. And we didn't want to just ban people as we went. We wanted to collect data. We also didn't just want to collect data. We wanted to make sure that we had these right, and that when we did this, it hit multiple gangs at multiple times, because a lot of people were housing different types of problematic individuals. Let's just put it that way. And I didn't stop there. I made sure that I also cross-referenced this with any of our major streamer groups. I made sure any groups that any admins were attached to were fully cleared. Like, they were fully cleared from top to bottom to make sure that there was integrity. I also, on top of that, made sure to do the same to anything or any groups of people that I touched or knew, so that there was no ability for someone to come in and say, hey, you only did it to these people. This was targeted. No, it's not. I checked everyone that you could touch me with. Anyone could link to my admin team. Anyone that could be linked to my development team. Because we're not playing that game. This is a systematic problem that we are going to solve. Period. We also didn't just automate these. We did manual review of all the bans where we went through, we saw exactly what the triggers that were triggered were. We looked for things that could have been, maybe you were in a script and you blew up a bunch of cars. Maybe you were in a script and, common things we see that that would false flag an individual. We even have them within our own framework. When someone opens something by accident, or maybe someone gets transitioned at the wrong rate into a camera view or something like that. Those types of things we looked for and we did a manual review. And we're not done. We did a large portion today, but we have a ton more to review and to manually hand review. And the problem is here, and the thing I want to let everyone know is that it's too late for you to hide. We've collected all of the data on all of you over a long period of time. And then what we did
the data
is we made sure that we had all of the data on our website in terms of linked Steam IDs, linked Discord IDs, linked identifiers across a number of different categories. You're already got. It's just a matter of time. This is my message to everyone, that we are not going to tolerate anyone who has cheated, is going to cheat, or anyone who has a mentality that is contrary to what we want to have here on Prodigy. If you have cheated, you don't belong here. If you cheated on a roleplay server, you don't belong on this roleplay server. That's it. Period. That is our stance as a community. And this will be unwavering. Period. I think last going off.
Fly high, Zakid, Zolo, Swarif, Gioso.
I'm not playing around. And no one on our team is anymore.
What?
No more excuses. No more bullshit.
Really, Rami? All right, then.
It's over.
All right, then, Rami. Is that what we're doing?
Okay. And I know I'm surprised as everyone else that somehow, some way, Ricky Riz was not flagged on this list. I know. I'm very surprised too, but I think I need to especially specify that South did not make this list in terms of, like, he was not flagged anywhere. I was shocked. We're working on it and we will catch him eventually. You have my word as the leader of this community that we will catch Ricky Riz. Wiki Wiz will go to jail.
He was
we will
flagged.
catch him in the act.
He was flagged for
We've all heard
is
about
not
this
cheating one.
Call of Duty footage that he has that no one can find. And the reason we know we can't find it is because it's incriminating evidence. So if you can find it, please deliver it immediately to me or to Lord Kebun. Okay? Immediately. We both are looking for this. Thank you. Next up. I think this is a good thing, honestly. I know it's a little bit of a stern tone, but I think we need to really make sure that it's clear to people that we are not going to tolerate that culture at all on the server. We were very lenient for a long time in terms of, like, well, maybe people change, maybe we don't have enough proof. But the reality is that we're the only server that's doing that, and it needs to change. And today it's changed. PD, this weekend there was a large discussion. I won't get into all of the fine points here, but we had a big, basically come to Jesus meeting with the police department and police forces in general. That came from bigger conversations of problems that have been brought to me for a number of weeks from a number of weeks from different criminal groups and people who have been had it up to their eyes with a lot of things going in within the police department.
What the fuck?
This meeting focused on a number of different issues, but the big things we talked about in general were that PD are denying sell RP on large within the server. On this point, we talked a lot about how a lot of PD just aren't discussing or backing down on charges. They're not allowing lawyers to argue. They're not meeting them halfway. That they are being very sly and dodging court when it's very clearly outlined that probable cause hearings are a thing. And that when a criminal requests these and the court is open, you should be processing the person in the court. where they're able to do their PC hearing. And they're not allowing basic things to happen. They're not looking into nuance. They basically are not listening to anyone but themselves and the things they've written on paper. Court cases have been taking weeks. Hut holds have been going on for forever. I've put my foot down on PD that this stuff is completely inappropriate. And I've told them and reiterated to PD that if you do not have the probable cause and the burdens met in the proof at the moment of charge, you are not to charge someone. Period. Period. You're not allowed to. Next thing we talked about was an extreme amount of aggressiveness that is uptick within the PD, with a lot of hitting of bumpers and chases constantly, just rubbing their cars against people, like bump, 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 bump. A lot of love tapping criminal cars over and over again, which eventually breaks them down. And the fact that I know that a lot of people are doing this because they know that that fact happens, that they wear down internals, they wear down the body damage with those small taps over and over and over and over and over again, and that it does more of the criminal cars than it does with PD with the ram bars. Next thing we talked about was we've had an uptick in people aggressively boxing instead of doing so when it makes sense at a slow pace. Instead, they're ramming into the sides of cars and boxing them. We've also talked about the very method of playing bumper cars in general. The next things we talked about in this meeting were bad etiquette, an uptick in instant taser usage, that people were not giving grace for foot chases at all, that they were instantly tasing, which is contrary to the things that are written in the PD SOPs, as well as the vision that we have for Prodigy. We also talked about people cuffing people that were no longer in the stun state. And what I mean by that is people who are down on the ground can be cuffed, but when they're getting up and running away, cops were still cuffing them. Or when someone was moving away from them, they were cuffing them. Or if someone is moving a body, they were just walking up and cuffing them. This is power gaming. This is an abuse of that game mechanic. This is not allowed. We also talked about the default to carrying everyone without with the drag system, where they just immediately grab people and just push them around. I need to take a 1 second.
Bro. Bro, right, it's just Ramee just abs.
All right.
Fuck no.
Where were we? Instant grabbing people is a big issue. People need to verbalize when they are grabbing someone. They need to do it with roleplay. You shouldn't be grabbing people when they're like fucking doing a mad dash. You shouldn't be grabbing people for no reason, right? The people should be stopped. You should grab them. You should verbalize it. This is a roleplay server. Good faith belief was another thing we talked about with Tennessee versus Garner. We have a lot of people just shooting people on like very default views of like without any knowledge of a situation. They're just blanketly shooting people. They held someone up, shoot him in the back. Someone went down there, shoot him in the back. That's not what our police force is supposed to do. Our police force is supposed to be able to articulate when they're meant to shoot someone. Meaning you need to demonstrate that they are going to be a damage to someone or someone else.
Oh, bro, where's the juicy stuff, bro?
52 chains got timed out.
Okay, where's
friendly fire?
Where's the juicy stuff?
So this is really important for the cops to understand, is that you don't just blanketly shoot people. There is a methodology for this, which is you need to have a belief that they are going to shoot, kill, hurt someone in the immediate future, or you. Meaning if they are unarmed and you shoot them simply because you think they did something, that is not enough. And you deserve consequences for that. Okay. On that, we also talked to police that they are the first thing people deal with on the server. They are the place that people need to understand is got to be the beacon and the bastion of roleplay. And the quality of roleplay needs to be good from the police department. Meaning that these things have to get locked down and approved, which we've talked about.
Let's figure out who stole Zolo's
servant. But this stuff pretty much sums up where I'm at with this. We also talked a lot about how the LSPD is getting shit on a lot and that they need to be given an identity. For the DOJ, an update on the DOJ. The rebuild has gone pretty well, I would say. But we are now at a point where we need to see significant growth to continue to do what we want to do and operate the DOJ in the way in which we want to operate it. One of the big things that I want to fix in the next little bit is that PD will be required to call lawyers to cells upon detainment or arrest. Meaning that when the minute you decide you're arresting someone, you don't wait till you get to the station. You don't wait. You look and call a lawyer when you're on your way back to the PD or as you're putting someone into the car. Most people ride in duos, so there's no reason that this can't happen. This is very important. We waste so much time with the amount of time that people have in cells. I can even tell you from a personal experience, they've even put me. This is how you know it's bad. Even me ending up in the cells for 2 hours in debate or no one listens to anything. That has to tell you that the normal, regular, everyday player is experiencing much worse. Because I know that I'm going to get special treatment on the server when people know it's me. And I know that. I have to accept that, right? Especially when it comes to systems like this, that it has to be much worse for normal players.
What is
So
a
this has to
phantom?
change. This will be implemented in the extreme near future. I want to give a shout out to Cole Gordon, the player who plays him, that he's done a very good job with the stack deck against him with the DAO. And I want to give him a little bit of a nod that he has taken a lot of cases and made sure that they're getting put to docket. One thing I will say is that one of the big problems, one of the big problems that we have is that a lot of the lawyers, the civil lawyers, and the public defender lawyers, they just are not. They're just not replying to dockets or scheduling court cases, and this is a massive problem right now. Particularly, I want to talk for server health about the Tenshi cases and those raids as a good example. The lawyer just has not replied to the docket.
Where's
And
the
that's been going
juicy
on for weeks
shit?
at a time. And we need a better investment from lawyers and DOJ role players to be more on top of replying to these things on the docket. This is causing a lot of things to go for weeks to a month at a time, and we lose a lot of the lightning of these cases and the interest from viewers, honestly, and from the players at general. A lot of interest gets lost from people. In general, we need a lot more DOJ role players. Right now, we have a problem where we do not have enough judges, and we need judges that understand the vision of Prodigy, but also that have a big personality. They can be entertaining. They're able to read the room. And this is like our biggest bottleneck right now is we can find people who understand the law, but we can't find people who are entertaining. And that's like the big problem we have in Prodigy at the moment is trying to find the middle ground there. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. But I want to put out a call again that we are looking for these people.
Who
And
the
if you are
fuck
one of
is
these types of
that?
people, please message me. I'm interested in hearing from you. If you are able to be very interesting, entertaining, you're not boring. To be honest and blunt, it's judges need to be cool, entertaining, and able to read the room. If you are one of those types of people, I want to bring more judges on. The goal is that we want to have active present judges pretty much all day long. Yes, Iron Mike, you are cool, entertaining, a little troubling at times, but also a big criminal. We need more lawyers, which means expediting and making the court much more interesting as well. That's been a big problem that we have. Like I told you with the Tenshi cases, is that we're not moving court cases along far enough or quick enough because a lot of people just aren't replying to the court dockets. We need people that are going to be more vested in pushing things forward beyond just the average criminal case. The next thing that I have here is that we will be bringing back bench trials in a form. This will be happening in the next week, which I'll work with the DOJ and the PD on how to best put this forward. But as it stands right now, probable cause hearings are pretty much universally being abused by the PD. I warned them on the weekend. Many people are continuing to abuse the fact that people are allowed to have them. And therefore, what will happen now is that bench trials are back. Some things that might happen here, however, is that we might lock down the courtroom with a lot more mechanics so that people just can't be running out and being shitlords, that behavior doesn't continue to happen, that there has to be actual thought put in if you want to do something in the courthouse. But they will be making a return in the near point. And there's more to that we'll talk about in a second. PD lawsuit maximums. I think this has become necessary based on talking to a lot of players on the server. They feel like there's a real opinion out on the streets. If you talk to like different criminals, stuff like that, they don't sue the PD or do things to the PD because the PD are completely unaccountable for anything that they do. So I thought about it a little bit and I was like, what could help give good role play, but also make the PD accountable and the regular members of PD actually give a shit? Because most of the PD are going to sit there and they're going to be like, well, okay, the PD got sued. I don't really give a shit. You know, like, like, okay, sue them. I don't care. And then just go on about their shift. And it just becomes the problem of Cam and Lane and Cole at being like, yo, what the fuck? While these PD completely disengage. So here's a couple things that are going to change. And it's going to spice it up. We're going to see how it goes for a little bit. Okay. So number one is officers are no longer immune from prosecution civilly, meaning that they can be separately and individually held liable. Which, have fun, Hutch. Number one, Hutch, you are fucked. Hutch, Kyle Pred, have fun. You're gonna get a lot of roleplay. Mostly kidding, but yeah. Proc also have a lot of fun with that because like people will target them with this, and it could be funny, and at least will lead to some lawyer roleplay, right? It'll be funny. Rights violations are now per violation, not per arrest, meaning that the maximum 100K is per time your rights were violated. I think that'll be a very good change. Sending someone without meeting an acceptable amount of PC or evidence.
Oh, chat, I don't know if I can sit here and listen to this, bro.
False imprisonment type charges. So this is like you can prove
I
false
thought it was going to
imprisonment
be about the criminal shit.
is up to 250K now. I think
What?
these changes will do a long way to making PD feel more involved and more responsible for the things that they do wrong. I think overall, this is a good thing. And this should make people take
What does
this
that
shit
mean?
way more seriously and give some levity and depth to the role play without people having to be fired. Because we don't want to be just firing PD who like bring good content and stuff like that. And judges will be instructed to read the room on like SBS things. So if people try to take like an SBS thing that was fully an SBS thing on both sides to court and try to get money out of it to cheese the system, well, you're gonna get screwed by the judge. So this will be a big.
I don't
big
get
thing.
it. What? I don't get it.
Will have to hire individual legal representation. They'll have to have lawyers on their payroll, like civil lawyers, to defend them against these civil actions, right? And I think it will lead to a lot of role play. This is also why we're going to need a lot more judges. And I think we'll try this out.
The fuck is that Zolo one?
See what the effect is, and then we will see what happens. Essentially, yeah. So
I don't get the 250K
Lane
thing.
just messaged me. This should be starting after this meeting in bold, not anything before, or they are fucked. I don't know. We'll debate it. We'll see how much interest there is, and if it's like too much from stuff before today, then we'll say no. This stuff starts today. I think the end goal here, though, guys, is it needs to be fun still. The court case needs to be fun, and it needs to be fun for everyone. Meaning that these things can't go on for like 2 hours at a time. You know, it needs to be more expedited. And these things are for good fun, basically. What I will tell you is that this one way we want to do this to mitigate some of the damage is that bench trials will allow for that civil penalty.
Wait, what? Chadwick, so I got awarded 10K,
rate
and now they do
the
this.
Damage is done. So that it will also incentivize PD that when they get hit with these types of things, that they bring them to bench trial so that the civil forfeiture can be can be greatly mitigated, right? So we will look for limiting those to like 15, 10, 10 to like 20-ish K, right? So that it doesn't go into these big blown out cases all the time that they can be settled in bench trials. The biggest problem that I find happens within roleplay within GTA, especially when it comes to court systems, is you lose the thunder, right? You need to catch lightning, right? For the content of the day or the content of the week. And the big problem that's kind of happened is that we have moved to a point where people lose interest constantly, right? When in reality, it's much more entertaining if Kevin and Hutch have like this thing and they're planning to sue Hutch civilly. It would be much cooler and better content if both of them were present in that moment and it got brought to a bench trial and it was argued there, you know, and the content and stuff happened in the moment instead of it happening later. And that's the thing we want to really solve here is enabling people to be able to follow role play. What we will not tolerate, however, is people that are being bad faith actors with this stuff. And I will tell the judges to be very punitive to people who bring nuisance lawsuits, meaning that you will have to pay the other side's legal fees plus their time if you bring nuisance lawsuits. So I think this is good, honestly. If it's not good, we'll roll it back. So the next thing we also have, judges will have more ability to compel PD with orders and injunctions to avoid abuse by PD bullying lawyers, which has been a big thing recently. PD seem to think that they have power over the judges. That's not necessarily the case, actually. So I will be incentivizing the judges to use injunctions for things that are applied to them that they can enforce PD to do certain things with injunction, with different injunctions. Cell time processing needs to decrease in general on board. Right now, it's way too long. I've instructed PD that they need to have their shit together. They can't hold people in the cells for a long time. We will be looking at implementing as well time served mechanics. We will look at some type of way or mechanism to count time in the cells so it's not something that's able to be argued. And we'll go from there.
W.
Okay. So I think a lot of this is really interesting, and these are good changes.
That's actually a good change.
The next thing I want to talk about is the PD and gang issues on the server, or sorry, the gang issues, criminal civ issues. This is a little bit of a smaller table section of our community meeting. The first thing I want to highlight for people is that we realized that there was a big disparity in terms of rewards on the server. When I had a lot more free time, what I did is I went and I dug into the code a lot more to see what was happening with the rewards and why we're having so much complaints about rewards in general. What I uncovered is that the way in which we were distributing loot was that it was weighted from the same table, which basically means that everything was coming out of the same exact pool. You never had a chance to get like a good drop or like a really good drop every time you did one of these drug runs, which takes a lot of investment. They're pretty difficult. They can be hard to do. They take a lot of preparation.
True.
So what we've done is we've changed a lot of the loot tables across the server, and we'll continue to do this, where loot runs, things where you get loot, are a lot more consistently rewarding. So right now, just as an example, say there are 10 drops on a loot table. Now we've made it so that 6 of those come from an uncommon loot table, which is like everyday like material things and stuff that you need. And then maybe 2 or 3 of those are from a rare loot table. Maybe one of them is from an epic table and one of them is from a legendary table. So you get things that are like tangibly valuable and things that you're looking to go towards doing drug runs and other things within the server to do. Like this is a big improvement. This should have been standard practice from the very beginning. This is why sometimes you'll feel like you go and do a really high-end activity and you end up getting 10 different horrible drops, right? And duplicates in those drops is because there was we weren't doing good practices in terms of loot drops on a lot of these activities. And a lot of this is due to developer standards across our development team, which we're developing now. And in terms of like the grander scheme things, like this is how we as Prodigy believe loot should go. Because we want people to feel rewarded and the activities that they do that they feel rewarding. So this happened. We introduced a number of drug runs. It's very progressive now in terms of like you will get pretty much the contract for the next higher drug run out of the drug run that predates it. Like so, a meth run should give you a coke run, a regular meth run should give you a crystal meth run, etc. Like that. Smashny can talk a little bit more on that. Go ahead if you want to add things, Smashny.
Basically, right now, player have guaranteed progression from easy to medium to hard to a light to crystal and coke. And also we are using that system already in trap houses, and we are converting more scripts to use that new systems. And we are teaching the old way we used before. That's everything we can say.
Perfect. The next thing we did, do you want to tell them about trap houses with Smashny? But by the way, I decided to invite Smashny today because I have more time to prepare for these things now and to invite people that you may not always get to hear from in voice, like Smashny, who do a ton of work on the server that you guys can get to know a little bit better instead of just hearing my old ass sit up here and just talk to you for 60, 70 minutes at a time over and over again. So go ahead, Smashny. Smashny does a lot. For you guys who don't know also, so it's a proper introduction. Smashny does a lot of work here. He started doing like UX design, like all of the different visual elements you see on the server. Like Smashny has done the graphical basically design of it and has given them to like developers like Xblow or Yule to then put into the game. And then Smashny then expanded to doing a lot of things on the server like the gameplay loops, like the loot loops, like almost all the loot stuff that you go into and how much it drops. Smashny does most of that stuff. So
yes,
go ahead, Smashny.
So basically we have the new tables and we are improving the trap houses with the feedback we received recently. So trap houses now warn you and give you a clear area where it's happening. You don't have to look the whole little cell, for example. Now you have a clear place where it's happening, and also it's draining if you're not gonna defend. So if you see that message, please follow it. Since if you're not gonna follow it, your map is gonna quickly decrease. We're right now taking 5% of your current points, which could be a lot. So that's about the trap houses right now, and we are working on new things, but I'm not gonna talk about that. So we can go to the new player experience.
Oh, sure. Basically, the TLDR here is that trap house keys drop more than a limited amount per server restart. They last longer, and it takes longer to set them up, basically, so that there's a chance that counters that happen naturally at trap houses. Also, there is one alert that goes out to a gang member. If a gang has over 4 people online, they are going to be chosen as the drop spot. For one of those gangs will be chosen as the drop spot for the item that's going to be dropped. So it's a lot better for making sure that, you know, it's a real opt-in system. Basically, before we had gone with the idea that if people drop there, we want a more organic conflict, but it wasn't.
What's going on here?
Complaint. So we'll see how this goes.
Sorry.
Yeah, yes. Pull it over.
New player experience. We received multiple
reports
over. And feedback that it's hard to start on server. It's not easy to pick up the server. So we are making a lot of changes for the new players, and we are improving how we onboard players to the server.
Stay in the car.
We are
come on.
Where are you going? You got to stay in the car.
We are making your first day on Prodigy better. That's what we are trying to do with the new patch.
Come on. Look at my store. Buy some stuff.
Project I set upon.
Listen, I didn't even want to buy nothing. I want to give you a ticket for speeding.
No, buy stuff.
You guys might have seen me.
I don't have money.
I want to buy stuff. I'm trying to make money, not spend it.
I'm trying to sell secondhand stuff.
I wanted to see if the experiences that people
okay, I don't want secondhand stuff.
If I'd experienced the same thing.
Come on, dude, help.
I did, on large part.
I'm helping. I'm here enforcing justice.
Oh, look at this.
Problem on the server.
Let's see, what you even got in
here?
Jesus Christ, you're one of those,
to see how the new player gangs
what the hell does that mean?
On the server, and it's hard out there.
You collected all those things.
You know, I have a fairly big group. A lot of them are potatoes.
You stole them?
Nah, I'm joking.
What the hell do you mean you stole them?
But they,
I did collect them.
They're nice potatoes.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you stole them, I'd have to
put them in a blanket. You know,
shut down your store.
No.
They come out and they look goofy. And
what's your name?
You know, they're
Skangerton?
You know, they're precious. But
the key,
I saw very closely that it's
you got an ID.
To
this
get
is the key,
right? As a newer gang on the server, in terms of being able to get materials, it's a real grind without much direction. It's tough to
All right,
understand.
let's go back over to your
Even
car.
the
Is it
new
your
player guide
car?
that we have
Yeah.
It's a test
when
drive.
you start
It's
in
yours?
doesn't
Uh-huh.
give a good explanation of like
That
the
you
stress
wouldn't even-
system
Alright, we'll
and
write you a speeding
a bunch
ticket
of other
and you're good
things.
to go, okay?
All right,
They're
mate.
like really important, and it doesn't give you a good roadmap or idea of like how the server works. I still wouldn't be able to tell you from a new player experience that I don't think I've ever been told like where a starter bench is to be able to craft things for criminal stuff. And these are things we need to solve. We also need to find better repeatable game loops that don't put these newer gangs into consistent conflict, because right now one of the big problems that a newer gang will have is access to pistols is very tough. Access to money outside of, I mean, Eco Boost was a very good start, but being able to have like basic access to the things that really skew the deck for experienced gangs are like cocaine, which is $10,000 a brick right now.
All right, listen, just get a spin
Or
ticket,
the
okay?
fact that
Jump
so
on out.
many of the bigger gangs just have all of the class 3s and none of the smaller or like a boutique
You gotta
gangs
slow it
are able to
down,
get their
okay?
hands on
Here's
them.
your ticket.
There's
Cheers,
also
mate.
problems here in terms of like
Alright,
meth
enjoy the rest of your day.
distribution, weed distribution. It's hard to do deals on the server in terms of affordability for newer gangs as well. It's almost impossible. So these are things that we're looking at right now and how we can improve the starter game loop and the experience for new players. So that's a big thing we're working on right now, and it's a project
Since
that
I'm
I've
up
put to
here,
a lot
might
of
as well do
people
an
within
inspection.
our dev team. The next thing I want to talk about is conflict on the server with a lot of gangs right now.
All that
One of the
bad
big
stuff.
things that we've seen that's become more apparent recently is there's been a lot of flying in of shooters, which is what
Okay.
precipitated
Lots
our
of splints.
investigations so
Damn.
heavily over the last
Damn.
month in terms of
This guy
bans.
got-
And getting to that point of investigating those so thoroughly
that was a small
was
one.
the flying in of shooters. Do not name gangs in my chat. They'll delete those.
Okay, okay.
So the reality is here is
The hell
the
are
reality
all
is
these
here
cases?
is that flying in shooters is anti-roleplay. It is against
$1,000.
the very core of what Prodigy is,
Ah, screw it.
and it is completely inappropriate. And going forward, we'll be implementing a rule that says very clearly
Sorry.
that if you participate in anything that would fly in
What we got
shooters
here?
in general,
Fuck
Got
is
a
this?
single armor plate. Well,
this
yay.
leads to
Oh, let me get one,
you
let me get one.
also being banned.
I
Because
get
it's become a massive issue within our server.
The
You
hell?
just can't
Oh, you
fly
already
in
got too
shooters,
many.
You just
A
can't have people flying
chancla.
for conflict over and over again. You should
wow.
go to war with the people that are in and day out. We will be banning these people. Period.
Damn, 35
They're all
books of
chill. They're
knowledge
all
is
chill. No,
crazy.
no
Become a
massive
big issue
weed
across the
finds
server.
today.
Next big issue we've seen that's become very apparent over the last little bit is the picking of houses. There's a couple of behaviors I want to point out for a large portion of the player base that we know that are happening, and we're narrowing in on detection with this, just so you know. We have a good idea of who's doing it versus not, but we do know that there are people that are plugging in drawing pads and tablets to complete the Osu lockpick minigame to be able to simply pick houses. This is completely inappropriate. This will not be acceptable at all when we figure this out, who you are definitively. We will be taking you in and scolding you. If you're using an outside tool to aid you in terms of a roleplay house lockpicking, then you need to be dealt with. On that note, we're looking at ways to improve house breaching in general, because right now it favors a top level of people that just go and basically are being
Jesus.
free agents, and it's borderline fail RP at this point, where people are literally going to kidnap the only people that can do these things and bringing them to go and bring them to houses. So we'll look at better ways to do this. We need to limit this at the moment. And I want to be very clear that we have a no pocket wiping rule, which also should pertain to houses, guys. Foundation wiping someone is not acceptable on the server. And a lot of people are doing that. I know a lot of people are going to default to a recent occurrence. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking in general. There have been a number of foundation wipes that happen on the server, and we have been banning people for them, and we will continue to do so. Do not foundation wipe people. This is contrary to like fair play in general. So please keep that in mind. If anyone has any ideas on how to better deal with house robberies, as the breaching system obviously was not great either. we're open to hearing ideas. Is this something that's in discussion right now with the dev team of what we want to do with it? We'll likely be disabling picking outside of for police for the next little bit in the meantime. Okay. Next up, in terms of war and conflict, I want to remind everyone that we have new life, the NVL rules. We also have certain new life rules that were implemented not long ago. If someone puts a gun at your back, put your hands up. Very important. If you have a gun on you, put your hands up. This is not a 100K or die server. You don't draw, do a combat roll, shoot someone. That's against the rules of the server. Report these people. They're getting banned. Period. Next thing with war stuff that we've been seeing a lot recently comes down to people consistently not cooling down, right? If you are being shot down and immediately showing back up, or if you have shot people down and then you're immediately coming back for conflict within like the 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you're breaking the server rules. These are all called out there. And people need to realize that these are big parts of our server. People need to follow these. Okay. I think I've got most of the big issues out of the way. I think it's time we talk next patch, which is in the coming future. And some necessities that we need to figure out for that patch. The next patch that we have is going to focus a lot around, we've done a lot around crime, but now we're going to be around crime and punishment. It's going to focus on a completely redone prison system, in which we have done a lot of work to make the prison system more interesting. We've put a lot of unique systems within the prison to make the criminal world follow you into the prison, and the ability to do criminal things at a heavy benefit within that ecosystem. We tried to look at the prison in a way of we want to make the prison its own server, its own ecosystem, right? Completely. It should have its own gameplay loop. It should be its own thing, which is something that'll be coming in the very near future. With that, though, EOC needs to be present on the server in a big way. And what I need is someone who is going to be able to put the time, dedication, and to be responsible enough to give an amazing roleplay experience and training to the people within the DOC. So I'm looking for someone to do that for us at the moment. And if there's anyone out there who is able to tick those boxes of being fun, entertaining, able to read the room, I think I am very open to hearing from you in general. So with the next patch as well, we'll be implementing a number of extremely unique systems that will change the gameplay loop of the server, including a gym, which will incentivize player businesses in different manners.
Richard Sucker for Warden, bro.
And will be very cool, very entertaining. We also will be implementing some other things within this patch, like boxing. Like, we have made our own unique boxing system as well. And we want to ship this patch within the coming week, 2 weeks, is what we're looking at the moment.
Boxing.
This also introduces some smaller criminal systems as well. A new drug will be implemented as well with this system. So we have a lot of interesting stuff coming in the very near future. So look out for the trailer for that. And if anyone's interested in DOC, please let me know. Anything you have to add on that, Smashny?
No. I'm not saying anything. I know too much. I'm not leaking anything. I'm gonna meet myself.
Tell he's Polish. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is two last pieces is COC and businesses. I also am finding it tougher at the moment to be able to manage this on a daily basis. The problem, candidly, we've had with businesses, and I just want to spell this out so everyone understands.
Richard Sucker.
It's very hard to find someone who has a good read and gauge on like who should have businesses. This has been a big problem on Prodigy that we've really struggled with this and being able to remove the businesses when they've been a problem, right? We've done a bad job at automating. This is something I'm also looking to solve. This will be something that will be within my first 30 days, I believe. I want to solve some of these more of the food businesses that are not actively engaged on a daily basis more immediately. And the dealerships is another one I want to make sure I solve. But I am looking for people that have extremely good judgment here in terms of do this on an auto character level. And it is very necessary that this has to be done on an auto character level. And I want the community to understand that a lot of people go, why isn't this done in roleplay? Why is this choosing? Sometimes there's some things from a server health perspective you can't really do in roleplay. All right? From a completely server health perspective,
I know I'd be good
something
at that.
through roleplay when it comes to businesses is very tough, because if people just aren't meeting the roleplay standard, how do you say that from an in-character perspective? How do you go up to someone in character and try to say you are not meeting the roleplay standard that we need for this business to operate correctly? We need to be able to see these businesses back as the state. That is an incredibly important thing. And I know some people don't believe in that, but the reality is that we have to have that mechanism, and we have to have some level of control there. And this is just how it is. I'm sorry to say that, but it is what it is. You know, like, we have to do that, and it's just like with PD or other things. These things need to happen. We do have a certain amount of development time as well. I want to let you guys know that is put to the side to be able to develop roleplay businesses as well. That exists on the server. Now, in the development time, that we are placing so much development time towards maybe a business or two original businesses that we can put in, and we're putting a lot more focus on making things player business focused, with the ability to open up later if people fail or we can't find someone to do it. So this is a focus for our server. Like, we do want to see unique ideas. The problem that we deal with businesses a lot of times is the ideas we get are not unique, but they're not good. And people oftentimes just make a Canva or a PowerPoint and hand it to us. I have to be really honest, I don't care about that at all. Those are useless to me, and some people value those very heavily. Like, I know, like, Leah and Nash were, like, very big on those. I really don't see the value in those at all. But they feel to me like people expect to make a PowerPoint and get an in-game character business, because that's like, people used to hog out at that stuff back in the day. We're like, oh my god, they made this whole PowerPoint, that's so cool, they put so much work into this. Well, I'm sorry, half that shit's AI generated. It's 2025.
Can I
And
mute the
reality
game?
here
Yeah, I mean,
is that what I
not
want
really saying much, I'll be
I want
honest.
really strong, good role players that I can see that can tell a story. And if I can find those, I'll give you a business. And that's the problem we have, is that we have so many people that don't meet that criteria, that clog up the pipeline with shitty fucking Canvas and PowerPoints. And I gotta be honest, I really don't give a shit about those. So I just want to be very blunt that that's the problem we have with the businesses right now, is that we want good role players. We will reward good role players. I do not give a shit about your Canva presentation. I have to be honest. And I want people to really pivot to that. I want people to clearly understand where my vision is before that and what I expect for people to do. So I will look for people to help me with the business stuff on a grander scale soon. But what I need is people with very good judgment that can identify people who are very good role players, who are going to put the work in and actually do something with it. And that is paramount for me personally. So just so people understand, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, those are who businesses should go through. You know, they should go to people who are strong role players, because you make up the DNA of the server. When we put people in positions of power like that, they become the fabric and DNA of the server. If we put Johnny Grinder number 215 as the owner of every business, that's going to be a problem. And then that defines the culture of our server. And I can't let that happen. Okay. The last thing that I want to focus on is my first 30 days here in Prodigy. In terms of being full-time, I want to rejuvenate and refresh the staff team. I want to build out a full event support team so that things like factions and all these things are less burdensome on people like me, who come in to be the face and the storyteller. People who can be architects to build out missions. Because, right, we have a cool ability to build out missions on Prodigy, where you can place props with our system. You can put hacks and all the hacks we have on Prodigy are on a list on when we place something in the event menu, where it will let you put a hack on it. Like, you can do really cool things to set up missions for people, right? We can place pets with different characteristics, with the ability to shoot, to be aggro, whatever. We can do all of these things to a very high level. And we don't just need people to come in and place props down. What we need in Prodigy is people that can come and be architects for quests and fun, and to help people assist with the dungeon mastering process of faction quests and to enable and make all the gangs on the server feel like they're heard, they have value, and to push forward their story. And for me, that's been the vision of Prodigy since the very beginning. It's just I very much lacked the time and at times the support to do it. So what I'm doing is I'm calling to the community here. What I'm looking for out of all of these applications right now is I'm looking for people to help with discipline, of course, and tickets and that stuff. But what I'm also looking for is I'm not looking for someone to go and put props down for the 15th rave of the week or the 15th concert of the week. What I really want here is I want people who want to help people tell their stories. I want people who are going to come and help me enable every gang on this server to make everyone feel heard. That's what I want. I want to give back to people who want to push their stories forward and make some fucking cool shit. That's what I'm looking for. And I think that really needed to be defined here with the community meeting, is that I want those types
Oh,
of people.
shit, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so
I want
tired.
to enable you to help me give these people some badass content. So that's what I want. So if you're that person, apply for the event role. That is what I want. I've picked out a couple of good people so far, but I've denied a lot of applications that were problematic or whatnot, or just weren't a fit. But I'm still looking. I'm looking every day. I've reviewed everyone so far personally. On a personal level, I've reviewed all of them. So, and to the people who didn't get selected, not personal. Sometimes there's just the factors that make it not a good fit. You know, whether that's ban history or things that have been said on a stream in the past, or just things that would be controversial. Like, we just try to avoid anything that's going to rock the boat too much with our staff team. So that's a big thing. Okay, I want to get that going. I want to have a badass event team. I want to rejuvenate the staff team to give it more energy, more active bodies to do reports, to get tickets going. I want the community to feel alive. That's like number one. Number two is I want to make the current faction storyline have an amazing send off and end as we build into the next season of factions, where we've learned a lot and we've built a lot on, and we'll build a lot on the systems that we've done before. We have learned so much from this. This was an experiment, and I think it went well at the end. It's tapered off because people have had less time, but we've learned so much in terms of just the number of factions that you can have, the amount of storytelling you can do, all of that. We've learned so much. That's number two. I want to make that fucking badass, give a lot of cool missions, and make that go and push forward. Including rewards. We need to do a lot better with rewards, which we've already started on. Me and Recreations and Alvar have already been cooking on all the 3D aspects of the next faction push. So we've been really pushing that in a big way. The next thing that I want to focus on at my next 30 days is to get the development team into a point where we are much more organized and able to iterate things a lot quicker. Number four is I want to build out heavily our 3D team and environments team. This is one of our weaker points on the server. I'm going to be looking for a lot of 3D artists and 3D development artists to help us push our 3D and creative stuff to the next level, because our development and systems are pretty cool. I think the thing that where we lack is our ability to put cool things and environments and stuff in the server at a quicker pace. And this is something that I'm going to be really focusing on in the first little bit. The next thing is going to be making sure that we have an active and healthy community for civilians and ecosystems for civilians to feel like they can contribute and have fun within the server. And then also the next thing I want to do is to make sure that the DOJ and PD are to a point where they're able to push and move things at a level that is expedient for the role play, that makes things fun and exciting, so we aren't waiting for weeks at a time to fulfill storylines and see things come to fruition. And then last but not least, I want to make the racing scene fucking cool with really good role play, with strong role players enabled that focus on those things. I've had people hit me up even in the last week since we've had a lot of these conversations, including like really cool people who do this stuff in real life, right? That do racing in real. And get who I'm going with. Who's do it in real life. That would be really cool to bring in, and those are the types of people that could really bring some energy and fun, and like they know this shit. You know, they know it in their core, and enable the racing role players. The role players. There are racers on our server who role play every day to enable and uplift them. Those are the things I want to do in the first 30 days. I think all those are obtainable. So if you're a cool ass fucking judge, if you're a cool ass lawyer, if you're a good role player who loves businesses, if you're someone who wants to go and enable people's stories and make cool ass quests for them, if you are someone who is a 3D designer who loves to make cool stuff and have a lot of creativity, you work hard, fast. If you are someone who
Fuck,
wants
man.
to do anything extremely cool within Prodigy, now's the time. Our server is doing so well, and we're going to continue to push that way. And we are going to build out this community wider and wider as time goes on. And I'm so excited to be here. I have so many cool ideas that I want to do for a long time that I want to push here on the Prodigy ecosystem and beyond for 5M and beyond and beyond and beyond. I think there's so much stuff we can do with the resources that we have, and I'm extremely excited. And I'm inviting all of these people I've mentioned and asked for on this journey because I think it is going to be amazing. So that is my message for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to open for at most maybe 15 minutes for questions. You know how it works if you've been to these before. You write your question, you tag me in the town hall chat, which is the voice chat the text chat attached to this, and then we'll talk. And yeah, if you can't tell, I am extremely excited and I'm passionate and ready to hit the ground running with this with all of you guys. And one of the things I'm most excited about is the fact that I have the time to be creatively free and to talk to people. Oh, and also I have a nice bonus code before we open questions for all of, we have 15% off. If you guys don't know, all of our Prodigy faction t-shirts for 2 hours from our friends over at Ludacy. If you guys want it, it is going to be, the code is PRP Chat Club, just so you guys know. And that'll give you 15% off. They're really, 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 really cool stuff. So go ahead. It supports the server. It helps support us to do more activations like this in the future. And we appreciate anyone who can, who wants to go. And maybe you'll be able to rock it and hang out with us all at TwitchCon and wear your Prodigy shirt. I don't know. I'm just saying. So go ahead. Any questions from the chat? I'm going to put the code in there for 15% off from Ludacy. You guys can use it. But yeah, go ahead. I'm going to start bringing some people up here for conversations, and anyone who has anything. Where's Hutch? Hutch isn't coming up here to yell at me for the... Oh, he's probably playing Battlefield. Let me invite you. That's a good question.
Hi, Ravage.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. This is passed along mainly from Larry Douglas because he's a damn good lawyer, but lawyers that go down to the cells get their clients off completely like they walk. They're not paid anything. Is there any way to maybe get them paid, maybe get a budget from the DOJ or from the state, or just some way that they can still get paid for being good at what they do?
That's good, and I don't think I've ever considered that. So, Smaxy, how can we do
Preston,
that?
thank you for the stream for 5 months.
Oh, yeah. Why aren't we charging clients? Actually, now that I think about it, like, why aren't people charging the people in the cells for the service?
Probably because oftentimes it's if you can't afford a lawyer, one will be provided for you, and there's no way to tell at that exact moment if they are able to pay or not. So, because they get 1,000 if they're sent off, but they don't get anything if the client walks.
Yeah, I guess you're still not hearing me. Like, why aren't lawyers charging clients? I think that's the thing that I'm having a real hard time here with, is like every server I've ever played on where I did lawyer roleplay before, I always charged the clients. I took retainers, I got money, because you just save them a ton of money, right? In a lot of these cases. I guess that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, I'm not trying to say your opinion's wrong by any means, or that we don't need it. I'm just trying to understand the problem.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's just it's just a concern that I've seen, that lawyers that are really good, they don't get the standard 1,000 that lawyers that, you know, their client gets sent off get. That's all.
I got you. Listen, if you can bring me like a better reasoning of why criminals can't pay, right, or why they can't afford it, I would love to hear that.
All right, works for me. Thank you.
But you can do that and hit me up later. Okay, sounds good. We can talk about it if you can't think about it right now.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, dude. I have a question about the recent protections. We've done a lot with the recent connection DDoS attacks. I think people need to realize the levity of which. What was the highest one, Smashny? Is it maybe Miatex here, or maybe even Monkey wants to talk and explain a little bit in the mitigation, because he'd be the best one to understand what he should say versus not. I don't know if he's around, but maybe we can
Monkey
bring him
was
up to talk.
around.
Yeah, if Monkey wants to come up, he can. We can invite him up and he can discuss it. But I don't. Well, it was actually more than that logical. The recent ones that we've mitigated. Okay, so if Monkey wants to come up, we can invite him up here in a little bit because he'll know exactly what we should say versus not, and I don't want to say things that put us at more risk. To be honest with you, because yeah, I don't want to be the mouthpiece that messes up.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, Smashly's gonna mute himself, but yeah, Smashly, if you see that Monkey wants to come talk, he's more than welcome and invited.
Monkey, if you wanna just request no wheel.
Alex Grace has a question on COC. We'll bring him up.
Hey, how we
Yeah, I'll
doing,
bring him
guys?
up as well. Hey, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Basically, I know the business process before was the council,
Jesus.
then the mayor, and then it went to the COC, which was just you and Leo, right? Is that still the same process, or is there a whole different process now?
No, that's the process. It goes to Leah, or yeah, it goes to Leah right now. If you bring it to Leah, it gets to me eventually. She put it in a thread for me to review, mostly. I haven't gotten anything in a while because I think she was on vacation or in and out of vacation or something. But yes, that is the current process. But I want to change that. I want to have more people that are involved in that process, so that and there's more auditing going on. Originally, the state's attorney's office was supposed to have Scam, which was supposed to be the ones investigating that stuff, but it didn't work out that way. So, yeah, there needs to be more of that shit going on, and maybe even the business regulations need to be redone entirely, and done from a more RP lens, because it was to correct the problem at the time that I don't think any longer exists.
Okay, I just wanted to double check because the last council, I put a business proposal in with them and heard nothing back, and then the new council got voted in.
The
so I don't know
council
what
never
happened
really
there.
pushed half of those things to us, to be honest. That's the problem when you put role play bodies in charge of things that are not like out of character vetted and like with those resources, like they can't do the job, right? To the level that a staff would, because players start to hold them accountable as if they are the server mechanism or the community, and that's just not the way it is.
No, of course. And I just wanted to apologize for screeching at your stream the other day when my mic was fucked up.
Oh, that was you?
Excuse my language.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me.
Good, my friend. Yeah, all good, my friend. I was more worried that
you guys.
you were someone bandimating or something, so I had a full
Nah.
investigation.
Yeah, one of the staff members.
You got full investigated, probably from that. I won't lie.
Yeah, one of the staff members messaged me, told me to jump in waiting for support. So
yeah, all good. They were just making sure that everything was on the up and up. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your question.
Thank you, guys.
Hope you have a great day.
Have a wonderful day.
Okay, Candy, you had a question?
I had two questions. Where do we apply for the event team stuff? And if you had any idea if there was going to be an EMS upgrade to like the systems and how many population is in the server.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
noticed every time EMS is on, it's very low pop, unfortunately, and like there's always a ton of people in the hospital.
Yeah, well, I think what needs to happen is probably their EMS
goes one
conversation.
It goes at 8 class speed,
and maybe talk about the population issues and how we can improve it.
Yeah, watch this wheel spin. Ready, watch.
So much, but I did notice a couple times that when I was shot down, there's no EMS around recently, which was weird.
No, I'm driving it, asshole.
As for the event coordinator, if you go to the announcements, you can scroll up to the last post, and there's a call for staff there, and you just select events out of there, and you can do it, or just go to the website.
A follow-up for the lawyer thing, most people, like for public defenders especially, when you go down to the cells, you don't expect your client to pay, and it's normally just like one of those exposure things, I guess you could say, for lawyers, at least from what I'm aware of in most servers I've played in. When you go down to the cells, you don't expect your client to pay, so like, if there's a way to, like, I don't know, give them like some sort of like...
When did we turn into communist Los Santos?
I don't know,
like,
but
that's just weird to me that they don't pay their lawyers on most servers. I don't know. I think
know
that's
most
maybe
criminals are in the negative too, so that might not.
well, I know a lot of the lower tier criminals, but the higher tier criminals are all like they have tons of money, right? And or they have club funds to pay for that. Like most gangs have like a gang account where they should be paying for lawyers and like getting like this is the thing I like to see from gangs is like put a lawyer on retainer. You know, like they're struggling out here. Put the lawyer on retainer, pay them out of like your group funds and stuff. Like that's role play.
I think the argument is if they're getting paid for having their client get shipped to jail, they should get paid for their client walking free. I think that's what the argument is.
Yeah, but that's a bad faith argument. That's like we're making sure that you get paid if people are put away because they're being hit with such a big fine, right? Like the reality is like this is a role play server and I do require people to role play, right? Like, and I haven't heard an argument yet that says like, hey, you know, the problem here is that they can't do it because of a mechanical issue. It's they get paid. Well, you get paid for sending me. It sounds like the criminals are just being fucking cheap, and maybe the criminals should roleplay better, and maybe people should start reporting criminals who are doing this type of shit.
Okay, I just wanted to
Get a different car. This car is shit.
But thank you so much.
Padrino. It
Yeah, no
doesn't
problem.
drive.
South.
Oh,
Yeah,
bro,
hi,
don't get me started on this car, bro.
Really excited for the prison update. So that's gonna be a good one.
It doesn't
I
drive
do have
straight.
6-7 pages of arrest, so I'm excited for that.
Look, bro, look at this
Are
wheel
we,
spin. Look at this wheel spin.
as far as like
It's so shit.
solvent on the island, you know, like are we?
Look how slow it
'cause
is.
Listen, Ravage, I'm showing up 210. You know what I mean? Gone, wiped, out of there. See you later. Is this just a race to who gets to the island first? You know, because like a guy like me can't afford a helicopter. I got $6,000 in my account. You know, I mean, and
for solvent drops out of the new drug runs and out of trap houses. I'll just tell it to you straight up.
no, I knew that already. I knew that in city. But is that enough? You know, is that like enough?
Lock
I
it, bro.
understand
I've got
keeping
no
it like
money.
controlled.
I've got no money, and if I was a gun
But like if
dealer,
you
maybe
factor
I'd
it
have
in,
money
Ravage,
to
we're talking
buy
about 8
a
bricks
new
a
car.
day, right? Per 24-hour span.
Instead, I fucking have to spam 19
more or less,
fucking
right?
meth
Maybe
runs a
10,
day
I
to make
guess, with trap houses in
20K.
total. But if bro, why these guys trying to?
I mean,
Dude,
listen,
it can't even be me, you know?
If there is a drop problem with solvent and we need to put more solvent to kickstart the cocaine economy and bring the cocaine costs down, because right now 10K a brick is inaccessible for a lot
I'm
of
so tired,
a lot
bro.
of
I'm
the
ready to
games
go
on the
bed.
server.
I'm
I'm
waiting
gonna
for
be
this
honest,
meeting to
having
fucking
pay
wrap
10K
up,
for
bro. I'm
20 of
so
those,
ready for bed.
Basically 20 cocaine is too high. The thing
Fucking
is, if
tired.
it's inaccessible because there's not enough solvent supply and that's the backlog that's hurting things, I am very
I'm going
willing
bed
to work
after
with
this meeting.
Smashing here to up those drops.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand keeping it kind of like
Jesus.
delegated, right? I mean, keeping it low, so you're just not pushing a lot out into the streets. But I feel like
No, we want to. We want.
I mean, if you want to, I feel like having that store. This, you know, listen, you guys know better than I do. I'm just kind of speaking freely. I feel like if you can have that guy reset his inventory a few times in the day, would be beneficial because then it's not like a race to the island right at 2 p.m. You know, because if you don't get there by 2:10, you're seeing a black frogger out of there, gone, never to be seen again. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you guys want to open it up, maybe having that shop like refresh, like once or twice a day. Because even if you do it twice, Ravage, we're talking about 16 bricks per 24 hours.
Why not just integrate it into criminal activities where they can get the stuff?
Oh, that too. I mean, yeah, that too.
Let's up the drops on them in general and let's see where it goes. I will get Smashny and Miatek to pull like how many of these have dropped in like the last week, and let's see what happens, right? And maybe we can also do what you're asking as well. Let's look at doing both of those things. I'm okay with that.
I'm finally doing something good. All right. Nice.
Yeah, but we are going to get you.
Where is your pro footage? Where is your pro footage?
We are going to get you for your cheating. We're going to uncover your pro footage with your hacks, and we're going to get you. And
I sent a video to K because this guy started the entire. This is literally all his fault. He's trying to run a smear campaign against me. Listen, there's pro footage out there. I asked Ramee. I literally had to carry this guy for 3 hours with him nonstop rage baiting me. IRL rage bait, by the way. We're not talking about in-city rage bait. We're talking about IRL rage bait for 3 hours. It was literally the worst thing ever.
Okay. Monkey Whisper is here, so we can talk about numbers.
I'm just kidding, by the way. I wasn't actually mad. Okay, thanks, guys. I'll see you later. See you in city.
Bye.
So those asking about the PRP chat club, I'm asking for them to extend it here. I think we started the community meeting a little late, which made it disconnect. Ramee wants to say something as well, and I think let's do that, and then I will let Monkey talk, and we'll go from there. And I'll have probably have the code updated by then.
You guys trying to hit this shit before cops come? Oh, give me 1 second, guys. Yo, hey, Ravage, what's going on? Hello?
Not too much. How about you?
Nothing much, nothing much. So I have a thing about the lawyer stuff from before. I really just wanted to come in here just to shit on South because he's actually dog shit at COD and like, let's be real, I don't know how the fuck this guy thinks he's a pro. You know what I mean? If he's a pro here, then like, you know, Shotz is a pro at COD. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true.
But for the lawyer stuff, I honestly think they just need to go around and get retainers because like I'm getting retainers for like a bunch of gangs for like 25 to 35 a K. And I'm having no problems doing that. You know what I mean? So I don't think, I don't know. I don't think there's they need like if they can't afford it, they should get money for it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I really wanted to be in here to shit talk Ricky Riz, but he already left.
Yeah. Okay. This guy pings me in a DM and be like, yo, I have something to add on this, and then just comes here to shit on it.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay.
You know, we don't need it because last time you guys added the mechanic thing, people were farming paychecks. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. That is true. They were doing that. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'll let them if they
Me
can
included,
give me a
you
better
know?
argument or yeah, you
Yeah.
included.
I was about to ask, didn't you also do it?
Fuck yeah, I did. Everybody else is doing it. You know what I mean? But yeah, all right, I'll get on out of here. And fuck Zakid. All right, peace out.
I'm just glad Kevin snitched on them all, so I knew. Okay. Monkey Whisper, who's with our partners at 101 servers, to just talk a little bit about
Why did he say fuck
the
me
DDoS
for?
mitigation and how
What did
heavy
I
the
do?
attacks have been and what we've mitigated since. So I think that's important. Go ahead, Monkey.
Hi, thank you. I wasn't ready to speak to that, but I'll say a few words that are in giving out some secrets to our attackers. But I mean, Prodigy has been under heavy attack for the past now 2 weeks, almost 3. It first started with just Prodigy's IPs, and the first few days it was being handled somewhat, and at least Cosmic Guard, our current previous provider, was attempting to actively mitigate the attacks. But once the attacks ramp up to the caliber that they did, which was up to 2.5 terabytes per second, they had to essentially choose to start null routing, which is blacklisting or blocking IPs, because at that point it was affecting
Manually.
not just us, our network, our customers, and then it was just trickling down to their customers. And then if it started in Ashburn, Virginia, then it was just going to the next location and the next location and the next location. Because Cosmic Guard has an Anycast network, which essentially where the attack is closest coming from is where it starts to get mitigated.
Yeah.
So if the attack is
can pin it.
originating from Russia and you don't have enough capacity to handle the attacks in the closest location, which is, for example, London or Amsterdam, then all of
Further
those
locations.
attacks are going to overwhelm the network and eventually
Dredging
it
it.
will congest the network.
Yeah.
So obviously at that point, unfortunately, Cosmic Guard wasn't able to keep up with the huge amount of terabytes. And I have
Basically,
to
they
say,
just got fucking botneted.
Cosmic Guard is a great partner for DDoS protection. They have been excellent. They have worked with us. We are very happy with them. However, this was just unfortunate because they are not keeping up with this amount of attacks. They are in the process of upgrading their infrastructure to be able to handle these attacks, but obviously that takes time. It's not switch. There's orders that needs to be made with the internet providers, etc. So right now we are running through a bigger, more established provider, which is G-Core. They have been able to essentially handle these massive volumetric attacks, which are just yesterday we filtered, funny number here, 69.64 terabytes of traffic. And that was just in under an hour. So these attacks are causing for example, I see you guys saying like handshakes or the curl 56 or the curl 52. Essentially, what those are is
Holy
like
shit,
silent
silent.
challenges to the
Yeah.
user that says, "Are you real?" And that's why sometimes
It's
you
a
have to
double
click
check.
more than
Yeah.
once to be able to say, "Yes, I'm real. Let me in. I am a real connection." And that's why sometimes players are having to connect 5, 6 times to say, "Hey, look, yeah, I passed the check. Let me through." And the reason for that is because G-Core doesn't have a correct layer 7 method authentication. They just don't have it. It's not a product that they have. And when we got on board with them 2 weeks ago, they didn't have it, and they told us that that wasn't something in their roadmap. However, as of yesterday, because they're kind of now trial
They're
by
gonna
fire and they're
implement
getting
it.
all these attacks, they have told us that they are going to start working on it. And it is something that
Damn.
now is being actively worked on, so that when an attack comes in, you don't have to challenge and players are not getting disconnected, etc. Um, and it's not just Prodigy; it's a lot of our other big servers too that we service that are getting DDoS and attacked. And then from other providers too in the hosting industry for 5M are also getting attacked. They're also having packet loss. So it's not just Cosmic Guard. Now you have all the other providers too that are also under attack, and it has been a very weird space for the past 2 to 3 days for not just Prodigy, like I said, but for many other providers too. But
Oh, chat, I'm
we,
so
we
ready
couldn't
for
even
bed.
update our status page on our website, and I think that was something that it really hurt us, because we are really open about communication and what's going on, and we like to update our status. We like to provide accident reports. So when we were doing that, the attackers was using the information we were giving our customers to then attempt to bypass those protections that we have for what we were doing at that time. So we just had to be like, you know what, we can't say anything, and we have to go radio silent. And that was really difficult to do that. Obviously, not the case with Prodigy and a few of our other customers, because we have enterprise level support where they're in a private group chat with us and they're not relying on tickets. But still, it was really difficult to do so. It's being worked on. I don't have, hey, look, all this issue will be resolved by then, because I haven't been provided that. But as soon as I know, I'll let Ravage and the team know. But yeah, that's kind of what has been going on for the past few weeks, unfortunately. And it really sucks. And look, I'm sorry. And we're trying everything we can. I mean, our team is barely sleeping, and Ravage knows that. But yeah, we are trying, and everything that we're doing is to accommodate everybody. So I'm sorry that this is happening, but we have to keep swimming and continue to just
People
get
do this is
past these
so
difficult
sad.
times.
It's not. Do you know how much money that costs to like update and keep a botnet running for
Perfect.
that long?
Thank you very much. We appreciate all the hard work.
Yo,
you guys
what's
to help,
up? Hi. Do you know how
with this. I know
like
it's been a lot of long
that's
nights for you.
thousands of
or
dollars?
Me, it's like mostly, and I appreciate the hell out of you guys.
And I'm pretty sure
the community, thank you.
69 terabytes of rerouting a botnet.
It's good for people to hear it.
Like
not
that's
for me,
like
so they don't think,
15K.
it's just the talking piece.
Probably.
bullshitting, And to
Maybe
hear from the guy who's dealing with
more.
it. So
Like $15,000, bro. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
a
cheap.
cleaning battle, but we're gonna win it. But just know next time servers do go down, blame AJ. That seems to be the common, common win.
Yeah, they can blame AJ.
All right. Yeah. Just
yeah,
blame
blame
him.
AJ. I agree. Blame
All right,
AJ.
guys. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. Okay. All right, folks. Okay, let's end off with a couple of last pieces. I'm being asked about the racing scene. I've taken a number of pieces of feedback, and we're going to integrate the racing scene a little bit and to be able to contribute to the next faction season. I can't get into too much in the next community meeting. We'll do that. I'll try to do one in the next couple of weeks. The big things to end with. We have launched our own Reddit that will be managed by the TLDR team. which is
Fuck
a
that.
pretty good group of people, I think, that has a pretty good reputation around. We want it to be a good space where people can share clips, good times about Prodigy, all that stuff. We were able to reclaim the Reddit.com.
Not going anywhere near that.
/ProdigyRP.
I'm not going anywhere near.
We won't allow like
I'm
fire
not going.
starting against the streamers or people in the community.
I'm not going anywhere near
what
that.
we will allow, however, is fair criticism. We're fine with that. I'm fine with that. And I think that's healthy. And constructive criticism.
I ain't going anywhere near that Reddit,
Talking
mate.
about things, completely fine.
Fuck that.
As long as it doesn't.
I'm on Reddit too much, bro. I'm not fucking.
Community members and stuff like that. I think that's the only thing we
I'm
really
not touching that Reddit, bro.
Hell
no.
It's
Hell
I
no.
think it's good for the community to be able to have something like this. I will say though that if one thing I want to clarify, and this goes with seeing a lot of community members replying to like YouTube clip channel comments, they're trying to respond to shit in people's Twitch chats, trying to respond to stuff on Reddit, you know, like engaging in like weird arguments and like trying to start arguments with people or trying to weigh in on like clips they're mentioned in. Like that stuff, we probably will ban you for that. I want to be really clear because that shows like an obsessive type of. It shows you're being too obsessed over the roleplay that's happening on the server in general. You should just ignore that stuff if you're playing on the server. And I want that to be really clear: is that we don't want to see
I don't know about
stuff. It looks really unprofessional and bad for the server. So, but yeah, we've launched the Prodigy Reddit.
I don't know about that one, bro. That's kind of just like silencing people if they get if someone posts some bullshit about them.
PRP chat club. I'm gonna get that re-enabled, and I will ping everyone
again.
I
don't like that.
A little bit.
You basically said if someone says something about you or says something, don't reply to it. You'll get banned for it. Like that's low key being like
like if you guys can, because like a lot of people won't be.
Nah,
after this.
I don't like that.
Thank you guys so much. I think there's so much exciting stuff to look forward to. Love you guys. I'm really excited to be making a lot of really cool shit with you. So as I said before,
like what? I don't. Yeah, exactly.
People want to make really cool events and all of that.
So someone can spread like a false lie about you and then
want to come and make
just shit all over you and you can't even defend yourself. I don't know about that.
X now, on Discord, wherever. You can apply on the website. You can do any of those methods, and I
don't like that.
Really excited.
Yeah, Red. That's what I saw it as, Red, as well.
All the way to GTA 6, and maybe beyond.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right.
Talk to you guys later.
I don't know about that one. Mike, what's up, brother, man?